How do I bypass keyloggers? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com with one of the more frustrating questions I get, and I say frustrating from my side of the coin. The reason is I keep answering this question and have answered it repeatedly over the years, only to get pushback in the form of, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? The short answer is this, and this just don't work. I'll explain in a little bit more detail. Here's the question. Is there a way to bypass keyloggers? Suppose you go offline, file/work offline, to type in the password and go back online to submit the web page. Or suppose you use the on-screen keyboard to enter the password or copy-paste the password. How about using a password manager to enter it all for me? No. If there's a keylogger on your machine, there is no way to know what its capabilities are or how you can be absolutely guaranteed of bypassing it. Let's talk for a minute about exactly what keyloggers are, how they work, and why I make such a strong statement. A keylogger, short for keystroke logger, is malware. Plain and simple. That's really all it is. It is malware that has a specific kind of behavior that attempts to log your keystrokes. Most commonly, they try to log your keystrokes and then share them with someone else, maybe capturing your login information as you're logging into an online website, and then sharing your login ID and password with someone else. The trick, though, is that the name is misleading. Keystroke loggers can log a lot more than just keystrokes. And that's why this answer is so definitive, that there is no way to necessarily bypass them. Let me read you just some of the ways a keylogger could work. They may send each keystroke immediately to a remote server on the internet. They may collect keystrokes into a file and periodically send that file to a remote server on the internet. They may collect keystrokes into a file and periodically receive instructions on where to send that file. They might collect keystrokes into a file that someone with remote access could come in and copy. They might not even be on your machine, but be on hardware devices attached to the machine that you might never even notice. While almost all of those can be bypassed, there's a lot more to the game than just keystrokes. Keyloggers can log anything. Remember, keyloggers are just malware, and malware, when installed on your machine, can do anything. So, a couple of thoughts. Malware could insert itself into the software that's receiving the keystroke. So rather than faking a keyboard and capturing what a keyboard is creating, it's on the receiving side, receiving the keystrokes from the keyboard. Malware could insert itself into the clipboard chain and automatically capture anything that is being captured or being copied into the clipboard. Malware can monitor your internet connection and watch the data being transferred back and forth. That's all focused on keystrokes. Unfortunately, it gets worse. Malware could take a screenshot every time you hit a key. Malware could take a screenshot every time you click the mouse. And malware can monitor and record your mouse movement so that they can see where you clicked and what it is you clicked on. You get the idea. Those last two pretty much invalidate any attempt to use an on-screen keyboard for sure. So why these so-called solutions just don't work? Well, file work offline, it's a concept that's in some email programs and web browsers. Basically, it makes them act as if there is no internet connection. There's still an internet connection. If your keylogger is actively sending keystrokes, it's actively sending keystrokes. If it's recording to a file to be picked up later, it doesn't need an internet connection at that moment in time. It just needs that internet connection later. The on-screen keyboard, as I said, it can be recorded. You can take screenshots. You can monitor the mouse movement, effectively capturing everything that you're doing when you're using an on-screen keyboard to type in a password. The clipboard, as I said, can be easily monitored. So copying something to the clipboard and then pasting it into your entry field doesn't help you a bit. Password managers. They either use the clipboard or they mimic keyboards. Well, if you're mimicking a keyboard, you're mimicking keystrokes, and keystrokes are what keystroke loggers like to catch. Even so-called keyboard scramblers, which really frustrate the heck out of me, they may scramble something. I honestly don't know where in the path they're scrambling, but there's 2 points that they cannot scramble. At some point, they are getting a keystroke from a keyboard in its unaltered form so that they can scramble it. And at some point, they are unscrambling it and providing it to the application that's needing the keystroke, because it needs to know what the real keystroke is, right? It doesn't know what the scrambled thing even means. Well, malware can do anything. Malware can be anywhere, and it can be certainly upstream of your key scrambler or downstream of this key scrambler, basically invalidating all this so-called scrambling that might be happening in between. One of the more frustrating parts of this discussion that I have over and over again is that people come to me with a preconceived notion of what a keylogger is. And you know what? 90% of the time, they are absolutely right. 90% of the time, keyloggers are stupid. They really are. They're very basic software that can, in fact, be bypassed by various and random techniques. Here's the catch. How do you know you've got one of the stupid ones? You don't. You have to assume you have the most sophisticated keylogger on the planet, and that means that every technique you might implement to bypass the stupid keyloggers isn't going to work for whatever it is you happen to be infected with. So you can imagine where I'm headed with this. There is no bypass for keyloggers. There simply is not. Yes, you'll bypass some of them, but you don't know that you'll bypass the one you actually have. So, don't have it. Don't allow keyloggers on your machine. Don't allow malware on your machine. Take all of the steps that we talk about over and over again to make sure your machine is clean and clear of malware, and you will have done what's necessary to keep it clean and clear of keyloggers. Because, like I said, keyloggers are just malware. Take care of malware, and you've taken care of keyloggers. For links to related articles, for the article that this video was originally based on, for updates and for comments, visit askleo.com/3294. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.